apologize. We are in full campaign mode. We have been driving around from the Free State, from here in the Free State. I was in the Northwest this morning, so I was in Joburg, Northwest, now Free State. And I'm here in the most beautiful part of the Free State, that's most Parys. So I hoop on some spreek. I don't want to waste too much time. Ek wil net 'n paar dinge laat sê wat baie belangrik is. En as dit alright, sal ek in Engels 'n bietjie praat en in Afrikaans en wat dat ek nie gaan nie, dan, you know, mense sal my help. Maar ons almal vir ons is lief van hierdie land. Ek weet almal, as ek saam met Suid-Afrikaners, dan weet ek, nee man, die mense is baie trots op Suid-Afrika, hulle wou Suid-Afrika werk. Eintlik almal wat hier is, ek weet hulle het net een ID-boek of een paspoort. Is 'n Suid-Afrikaanse paspoort. You don't have another one. That's the choice. Now the only question we have to answer is, how do we make sure we build one South Africa for everybody? Because we've got many South Africans. You know, I've just come back now from Helbron. When you arrive in Helbron, the people there, you can see the face of poverty. And yet, I'm a Christian, and all I know is that you can't be living in a country where other people are throwing away food and other people don't have food. That's not the country we want to live in. It's surely, it doesn't matter whether you come from, you know that thing is wrong. You also know for yourself that when other people's rights are being taken away, they take away everybody's rights. Yeah. Equal rights are not rights like a pie. It doesn't mean when you give other people rights, you are taking away from others. You need equal rights for everybody. And in South Africa today, because our economy is not growing, our economy is busy growing at 0.8%. It's going backwards. If you look at all the people who are here, I'm sure all of us are feeling poorer every single day. We feel like the Lions Rugby Club. No. I come from Gauteng, so when the Lions, we were winning and then we started going down. But I must be careful here, it's most cheaters is on there. But that's what most people feel in this country. They feel like, look, things are getting tougher, they're getting harder. And the worst thing about it is that most people don't know what tomorrow holds. We are all worried about tomorrow. I'm a father, I've got 2 kids. And every morning I look at them, I think, Yana, what's happening with their future? And I'm sure it's for everybody. Because the worst thing we need in South Africa is to create what we call Skype grandparents. You know, Skype grandparents is when you see your grandchildren via Skype because they are in England or Australia. That's not even the worst. The worst is that they end up supporting England and Australia. In rugby is a terrible thing. So the fact is, we have to think carefully about what South Africa we want. We have to think carefully about the future we want. And I know as I sit in this room, nobody believes the fact that South Africa before 1994 was better. Nobody believes that. Because we come from a painful past. Our job now is to build one South Africa for all. That's why I get frustrated when I hear of political parties but start by saying, we must have a party for white people and we must have a party for black people. I think that's apartheid. It is wrong. And we must reject it. Because people say to me, but the EFF, they say 1, 2, 3, and 4, they say they're going to do this. I say they are wrong, but I also think that parties who stand up and say, no, we are for only white people, it is just as wrong and dangerous. And it so happens that all of them end with F. Just so happens that. We must reject that idea. That's why in the DA I stand strong for this vision of one South Africa for all. I want to make sure all citizens can build a country where black people, white people, Indian people, colored people can saamwerk. But to achieve that, you must make sure the rights of everybody are protected. As jy wel Afrikaans praat, dan jy moet Afrikaans praat. As jy wel na Afrikaans skool gaan, dan jy moet op 'n Afrikaans skool gaan. As jy wel na 'n Afrikaans universiteit gaan leer, dan jy moet ook. That right must be protected. Because tomorrow if I take away that right, It means when there's an English university, then I must say, no, you can't go study in English. And if there's a Zulu university, then I say you can't go study in Zulu. When we talk about a diverse South Africa, it doesn't mean we are just soup. You know, in soup, you put everybody together and we make one thing. We're a fruit salad, and the beauty of South Africa is that you can come to Parys and meet African South Africans, and you can come to another place and meet black South Africans. It's the beauty of our country. We mustn't buy this story where people say we must all just be the same. We are diverse and we are beautiful. My wife is half Welsh, half Lebanese. My children are mixed. And then it's me. I've never come home and said to them, we are all the same. They look at me, they say, but Daddy, you are brown. Mommy is peach. We are somewhere in between. Not because they are racist, but because they celebrate diversity. They know we live in a diverse country. It doesn't mean they think of themselves as any better or any less. They think we live in a beautiful country, we must be diverse. That's why my son can watch cricket and support Kagiso Rabada and then wake up tomorrow morning and think I'm watching rugby and support Sia Kolisi and then support someone else, and then I watch him sometimes watch soccer players and then he supports this soccer player, and I think he supports the diversity of our country. For him, Dale Steyn and Kagiso Rabada are both heroes to him, regardless of the color of their skins. That's why the DA must succeed in South Africa. If the DA goes backwards, except for your vandaag, there's dividing, we are going to end up with parties who are going to divide us on the basis of race. And Mense Sefer may, no more President Ramaphosa sal dit nie, he's not going to allow that. Except who come? He come from the ANC and the ANC. They know that the only way they are going to survive is to say we stand for black people. They're not going to stand for all South Africans. Look at their lists. When you look at their list, you must ask yourself, how many black people, how many white people, how many Indian people, how many colored people are there? And you don't see them. And when you look at the DA's list, you realize that no, there's South Africans from all walks of life, because that's what we stand for. That's a very important thing. But the second thing is this. You can't, if you say you stand for that, forget that there are citizens who are left behind. You know, my kids go to a school. When I take them to school, I don't doubt that there'll be a teacher. I don't doubt that they are going to finish school. When I go to a police station, the police know me, so it's unfortunate for them. They know when I come in, I'm in business. But they are not going to look at me and say, no, pay a bribe. My kids don't go to bed at night wondering if they are going to eat. But fellow South Africans, 50% of our households are female-headed. 40% of our households in this country don't have a single income going into their house. Those are the facts. 10 million South Africans don't have a job. That's the country we live in. So all I'm here to say to you, it doesn't matter whether you are black or white, unless we address that problem, there will not be peace and there should not be peace. We must work together to make sure we work for South Africans who are left out so that we can build one South Africa for all. And if it means that, in fact, we all of us must do whatever we can to work for the people. That's why I love Annelie Lottery. Annelie and I, we are of different races. And what is factually true is that she's much more beautiful than I am. That's objectively speaking. You don't even have to convince me of that fact. It's objective. But Annelie and I know that it is in both of our interests to fight for South Africans who are left out. The last thing I will say, then I'll take questions. Because actually, the main problem is that when a liberation movement loses its ability, I'll tell you what is another liberation movement. The National Party was a liberation movement. The ANC is a liberation movement. They have the same thing. Just different versions of each other. They are going to tell us things that make people fearful. They say, no, Mr. Maimane, we must change the constitution so that we can give people land. I say, why? You don't need to change the constitution. You must give the people land. It's there. The constitution allows you to do that. But you must make sure whether it's black people, white people, they can own land in this country. That's what we want to pursue. Otherwise, tomorrow, you could lie to the people and say, we'll take away land from this race and give it to that race. Tomorrow it'll be from that tribe and give it to that tribe. And then you are dividing the country. The more I speak to South Africans, the more they say to me, we want to participate together to help people who are left out. I speak to farmers who say to me, I want to share with the people. Because they're the people who know how to farm. That's what the people tell me. So fellow South Africans, I'm here to say this to you. If we are going to build one South Africa for all, we must work together. We must make sure everybody's rights are protected. Everybody's right to speak their language is protected. And everybody's right to own property is protected. That's what we must do. Because when I see farmers and they say we can't invest because we are not sure, I think to myself, that's dangerous. Give the people the right to own so that they can actually farm. And when farmers are feeling unsafe in this country, it's an assault on all of us. I've never lived in a farm. Exactly, never lived in a farm. But I must make sure that farmers are protected, because any citizen in this country who is murdered is a citizen of South Africa, and it's my brother and it's my sister. That's what we are about. So I'm here to rally you today. Because I know many people have been saying, wat gaan aan in die DA? En die mense is besig met this and that and that. I said, die DA is die enigste party wat werk hard daar by die parlement. Hulle werk hard hier in die regering. I want to tell you, since we've taken over Joburg, we've stopped corruption heeltemal. There's still a paar mense wat nou besig is, maar ons kyk vir hulle. We are watching them. We've done it in Joburg. We went to Tshwane. We were busy there. The people were stealing left, right, and center. We dealt with them. Nou hier ons kuns om dieselfde regering hier in die Vrystaat te laat bring. Ons moet. Because otherwise, I'm telling you now, if you don't change the government in Parys, load shedding you will soon be saying to the people, when do we have electricity? We used to say, when do we have load shedding? Now we say, when do we have electricity?
We also say,
and as someone said to me, what is stage 5 and stage 6? Stage 5 and stage 6 is when they come and they switch off your candles. That's when it is. They come into your house now. But Eskom is a symptom of a country that has been stolen. It's a symptom. If they can't keep the lights on, how are they going to deliver jobs? I have a dream for this country that will put a job in every home and make sure the police work for everybody and that citizens can own property, that we can eradicate corruption and build one South Africa for all. That's why anybody who wants to divide us should not be in the DA, and people who want to work together for this country of us, we can work together to turn our country into a prosperous future for everybody. That's what we are doing. That's what we are working on. And when we are in government, we are showing it. That's why the Western Cape is the best run province. That's why Joburg and Tshwane are the best run cities in the country. And if you give us a chance, we can make sure Parys is the same. And hopefully the Free State is the same. Baie dankie. God seën South Africa.
Baie dankie, Mmusi. I'm going to ask our other, constituents head, Marie.